Speaks is an online language training service for large corporations and organizations. We provide online language training services for users all across the world, mostly for companies with lots of locations worldwide in different countries with a communication need across borders. It's a cloud-based service, so we do everything online, which helps organizations obviously to measure standards and really measure results and find results throughout the entire learners population. Succession planning is very important for large organizations, for any organization, because once you promote staff through the lines in your organization, obviously you need to fill the gap. If someone leaves the company, again, you want to prepare to fill the gap. Demographic change has to do a lot with it. Obviously, we're looking at this aging society where we are finding it harder and harder to find young talent to fill skill gaps within the organization. So organizations are more and more turning to their own work staff and to their own workforce to find talent and to fill gaps from within. In the modern workplace, it's not only about moving people around. And so even if you upskill staff to speak the same language, to have the same skill set, and you might have the idea of moving someone from Malaysia to France because he or she's got the right skill set, they probably won't move because Malaysia is different. But in the modern workplace, we have lots of virtual workspaces where people need to communicate. So if you corporations might have workforce with the ideal skill set located somewhere in the world, maybe in Malaysia, for example, you might find a developer who only speaks the local language. He will never be able to actually work within a team. So the one thing that he or she needs will be communication skills, so breaking down the communication silo for that person in Malaysia. That doesn't necessarily mean that he will have to move to Paris to be able to be a programmer, but he will be able to communicate with developers all around the world within the same organization. I believe that with baby boomers retiring, the workplace is changing a lot. We see millennials and Generation Y now focusing on completely different things, work-life balance. So even in my company, we meet people now that really don't just work for the money and for success, they work for the environment, they work for their personal development. And one thing that language training can do is to really open up opportunities to work in a more international workplace. In my company, for example, we have 8 different offices all around the world, from China to Brazil. We go as far to send people, to allow them to work in any of those offices for a limited period of time, of course. And that's one of the biggest perks, actually, that we find we have in the competition. One experience we have is that lots of, especially in the Western world, lots of corporations largely overestimate the skills of their workforce. So they simply assume that school would have done the job. People will speak English, they don't test it. And I think that's wrong. We have lots of large customers who run a corporate-wide test on language skills. And on average, they find the language skills are on a 6-level system, are 2 levels lower than they're actually assumed on average. So there's a big challenge for corporations to actually assess the skills of their population. Second thing, I believe, are technology barriers. Legacy IT systems simply won't allow to gauge the skill set of a complete workforce population because they're still living in technology silos where you can only look at a fraction of the entire workforce and don't really get up to results for the entire workforce. Well, the main thing would be to find out what your workforce is actually able to do. So audit them. Use technology to audit them on a wide scale. Use technology to audit them in a standardized fashion, not with little schools on and off in various locations, but just leverage technology internet technology to gauge the skill set of the entire workforce. Second thing would be to encourage mobility within the corporation. Doesn't necessarily mean that you need to send people all about the place or around the place, but mobility also means that workforce needs to be able to communicate via Skype, WebEx, name it, with other people in the corporation. So upskilling language skills means not only that you as a corporation are able to move people around, but also you enable your staff to actually communicate and get better. You empower communication. Third thing really is, I do not believe that there is a one-size-fits-all. So there is no technology, no teaching method, no theory that really fits the bill for all the people within a multinational organization. HR really needs to embrace the fact that people are different in Malaysia, China from people in North America. So what works for people in Western Europe, staff in Western Europe, will not necessarily work for the staff in other parts of the world. So as a part of the entire campaign in upskilling your staff, you cannot rely on technology too much. You really have to embrace the cultural differences between people and parts of the organization.